Great. All of you have a line sheet of paper. So go get your line sheet of paper. Let's title it 4.6 Linear Regressions. It sounds super fancy, but it's really not. All it's basically doing is asking you, find the equation of the line. Oh my gosh, I had to find the equation of the line 2 times yesterday in my level work. I had to do y equals mx plus b. I had to calculate the slope. Then I had to plug in a point to solve for b, and that was just so much work. So let me teach you how to do it on your calculator so that it's not so much work. It's just so much typing, but that's okay. Typing is easier than actually using your brain, right? Okay, so first thing you need to do, all of you, is you need to know this, okay? How to clear your memory. Because we do random things on our calculator, some of us like accidentally press something random and we didn't realize. Your calculator sometimes gets a little messed up. So whenever your calculator gets messed up, what are the magical buttons? Does anyone remember? What is it, Vaughn? Second plus 7, 1, 2. So please go ahead and all of you clear your memory right now. Okay, second plus 7, 1, 2. 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 Do it. Clear your memory. Okay, so let's pretend we have a problem. So here's our data. Data means like what are the things in your problem? Okay, let's say I have a table. And just give me a big rectangle and then just draw little rectangles in there. And let's just make up a problem together. Bless you. Okay, so it might be disgusting to you, but think of everyone around you that's so happy because they did not get sprayed just now.
Exactly, mask, everyone.
See? Okay. I feel like, you know what? I feel like normally by now I already have a cold, but I don't this year because everyone is masked. So I feel like next year I'm going to be the weird teacher that just wears her mask all year. When everyone else doesn't need to wear a mask, I'm just going to wear a mask because I'm not getting sick at all. This is good. All right, so let's make up some random numbers, okay? Let's start with the number 1. Okay, give me a number bigger than 1, just a little bit bigger.
2.
2, a little bit bigger than 2.
3.
No, like let's not do it in order though.
4.
Okay, 4, something a little bit bigger.
8.
7, something a little bit bigger.
9.
9, okay, don't do it in order though. Okay, a little bit bigger.
11.
That's in order. That's a
12.
plus 2. 12. Okay, one more. 26. Great. All right.
20.
Now let's do the Y's. Give me any number.
3.
All right, a little bit bigger. No order.
7.
7, a little bit bigger. 19, and then I heard 22. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's do like 20. Let's go backwards just to mix it up a little bit. Okay, now a little bit bigger. Well, that's 12 is smaller.
25.
25. Okay, a little bit bigger. 31. All right, there we go. So that's the problem. So normally yesterday I would have said, boom, there's your table. Go find the line that fits best. So now this is where all of you would have gotten a different answer because you would have chosen 2 different points. All of us today will get the same answer because your calculator is going to tell you what is the best line, the most accurate line. So you should all get the same answer as me, okay? So how do we do this? The first thing you have to do is you have to set up your settings. Set up your settings. If that's not redundant, I don't know what is. Set up your settings. So the way that you set up your settings is you have to hit second. So all of you are writing this down right now because all these buttons you're not going to be able to memorize. So you have to look at something. So you're going to hit second, and then you're going to hit 0, and then you're going to arrow down to diagnostic on. And then you're going to hit enter, and then enter again. So the way that you set up your settings is you have to push these buttons in that order. Yes.
Do we have to do this like every time before putting in the equation, or is it just like once?
Okay, so do we have to do this every time? No. Once you do it once, then you can do all the questions. But this is the easy part. So like the annoying part with all the buttons, that's the part where you have to do over and over and over every time. But it tells you all the answers. It does all the hard work. You're just doing like silly, mundane, boring work of just pushing in buttons, but that's okay. I mean, it's easy. It's mindless. All right. Okay. So now after you set up your settings, you're going to enter your data. And the way you enter your data is you're going to hit stat and then the number 1. And then you're going to enter your numbers. And by numbers, I mean like all the numbers that we just randomly made up for our problem. Okay, now after you've entered your data, you can finally get the equation. I hope you're writing this down. You're not going to be able to remember this by yourself. Okay, so you're going to getting the equation. So getting your equation, this is what you have to press. You have to press stat. You're going to right arrow to the calc. You're going to hit the number 4. And then you're going to hit enter 5 times. This should not be brand new to you guys. This is what you did yesterday in your video notes. Okay. I'll give you 20 more seconds to write this down, and then we're going to actually do this problem that we made up just now. All right. So here's all the directions. My final answer is going to be y equals blank x plus blank. That's my final answer. And those are the 2 numbers I need to figure out. For those of you who are like, I can just do it by hand. It wasn't that bad yesterday. No, you can't. That'll give you an equation, but it won't give you the best, most accurate equation. Only your calculator knows that. Okay, so let's do this. What you're going to do first is turn on your calculator. Hopefully you already cleared it. 2 + 7 = 1, 2. Let's go ahead and first set up our settings. So what did we press? We hit second and then 0, and it should show up as a catalog. Okay, so all of us, we're following along right now. Yes. Okay, so this is every single possible thing that your calculator can do, and it's in alphabetical order. So you want to arrow down to the D's because it's diagnostic on. If you really don't want to arrow all the way down to the D's, find the letter D, which is right here in green. And if you just hit D, then it'll just automatically go to the D's. Or you can just arrow down, 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 down until you reach the D's. Okay, now it says diagnostic on. So now you have to arrow down to diagnostic on, not off, on. And then you're going to hit enter. And then that doesn't turn it on. You have to hit enter again. So now hit enter again. So turn on your diagnostic. It should say done. Any questions so far?
How do you get to the diagnostic again?
Okay, so you were supposed to hit second and then 0. And then arrow down to your D's, or just click the letter D, which is 2 underneath alpha. And then arrow all the way down until you see diagnostic on, and then hit enter, and then enter. You get that?
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So now we can enter our data. If you don't turn on the diagnostic, it's not gonna give you all the answers. That's why you have to make sure you turn it on. Okay, now let's enter the data. So hit stat. Stat is right here, like second row, the third button. So hit stat and then hit number 1 because you want to edit, right? You want to edit your table and now enter all your numbers. First of all, do all of you see an L1 and an L2 on top of your paper? Or on top of your, okay, because some of you don't have L1 and L2. Some of you might have like L1 and L3. So does anyone have something other than L1 and then L2? Because
I have L2, L3.
you have L2, L3. Who is that?
Luke was there.
Okay, cool. All right, then Luke, I'm gonna have to do something different with you, but you can still do everything we're doing now. You're just doing it under L2 and L3, and everyone else is doing L1 and L2. Okay, so let's enter our data. First column, I see a 1, then hit enter. 2, 4, 7. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm literally just typing in all the numbers in the first column. Please type it in slow. It is not a race. If you mistype something or if you forget a number, then you're going to get the wrong answer, right? Your calculator is only as smart as the person typing it in. Now, right arrow, and now go to your second column, and now type in all of those numbers. Go slow, please. It is not a race. And if it were a race, your teacher would beat you because I've been doing this now for 15 years. I will nitro type the bejesus out of you on this calculator, okay? Okay, so you typed in your entire table. So we just entered our data. So now what you're going to do is you're going to get your equation. So how do I get my equation? Hit stat again. Now you're going to right arrow to calc. You don't want to calculate your equation. So right arrow, so you have calc highlighted. And now you want the fourth one. Do you see how the fourth one is ax plus b? It's basically mx plus b. You want the equation y equals mx plus b, which they wrote as ax plus b. Hit enter, and then hit enter again. Oh, I didn't have to hit enter 4 times. Sometimes I have to hit enter 4 times. Okay, Luke, did you have to hit enter, 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 or did you just get this answer?
I had to get enter, but then at the very end it says error archived.
Yeah, because I think that yours is L2, L3. So Luke, when you hit like enter, enter, so go back to like this stat, calc, blah, 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 blah stuff. And then hit enter just 1 time. And then do you see someplace where there's like an L1 and an L2 written?
Is it in one various stat? Wait, do I still go back to 4?
Okay, you know what? How about after class? I'll just help you, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because I can't see your screen, and so I don't know what you're looking at. So I think you have to just show me your screen, and it might be easier. Okay. So, yes? Can't you scroll down to calculate?
Yeah, you just like arrow down. Until you
I had to go like.
Or you can
down.
arrow up.
What are you talking about?
Like when you're on stack.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that. Why did yours?
Now what?
I don't know. That's weird. All you have to do is you enter 5 options at the bottom. You can just like calculate. I just pressed enter and it like just went down and then I could calculate and then.
Oh, yeah. So this is where you would have to hit enter, 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 and then you would hit a calculate. Yeah.
Wait, what's on Kayla's screen?
Yes. Is this your own calculator? Yes. Okay, so I think it just depends on maybe like the own calculator, but okay. So at the end of the day, all of us should come out with this equation. Yes. So your slope is the a, so it's 0.97. So your equation is y equals 0.97x plus b, and your b is 9.69. Yes? Did we get that? If you did not get this exact answer, that means you mistyped something. So maybe go back to your table and you can see if you mistyped something. You might have mistyped a number. Okay, now there's one more really important thing, the R. The R. Every time I say that, every year I always feel like a pirate. The R. Okay, the R is 0.84. This tells you how strong or how weak your line is. Basically, it's saying this, like, the goal is you want it really close to 1, like 0.9, 0.99, 0.98. That's great. A really strong line looks like this, where you have a bunch of dots and you see how your line is like really close to these dots. That's really strong. That your R here would be like 0.9, 0.98, something like that. 0.84 might look like this, where do you see how like your line is here and the dots are a little bit farther, not so close to the line? If you had an R of like 0.2, which is really bad, because the highest you want is like a 1, like a 0.99. 0.2 might look like this, where your dots aren't very close to this line. Okay? Yes, Emily?
Is it like going to 1 is like closer together? Oh.
Yeah, think of 1 as like 100%. Okay, so an R of 1, if you have an R of 1, which is perfect, means that literally every single dot is on your line. Okay, that's a perfect correlation. So this would still be considered strong, but then it would be positive because it's positive 0.8. Okay, yes, Kayla?
Why is there like a R2?
So there's an R squared, R2, and that's for algebra 2. I'm not even going to talk about that right now because there's no point. Like it's something that you don't even understand because you never heard before. So there's no point. Okay, so look at your video notes from yesterday. I also had to take it out. There was a page that your teacher asked you not to do, or like she didn't write anything on it. Was it this one? I think it was this one. It said in-class activity. Okay, so if you're a little bit shaky on this, I would go through this like independently by yourself and see, are you getting all of these answers? But look, your R is 0.96. So is that good or bad? Good, because it's really close to 1 or -1. It's negative, so it tells you that it's a negative correlation, but it's still very strong. So -1, +1, that's where you want to go. Okay, that's like 100%. Okay, don't lose this paper because that's going to help you with your level work. Because for your level work, what are we doing? We're doing this, okay? Okay, so you're going to practice typing this in your calculator. For the first one, you have to find the equation. So like y equals blank x plus blank, find the equation, and then identify and interpret the correlation coefficient. So the correlation coefficient is the R, right? Identify it. What's the number? And then tell me, is it strong? Is it really close to the number 1 or -1? Or is it weak? Is it like 0.2, 0.3? Is it bad like that? And then is it positive or negative? Which you can just look at the number and see. Okay, that's what you're doing for numbers 1 and 2. Number 3, number 4 is the same thing. Number 5, 6, and 7, tell whether a correlation is likely in this situation. Basically, it's saying, does one thing cause the other? The amount of time spent talking on your cell phone and the remaining battery life. Does one thing cause the other thing to happen? Yes, right? The more you talk on your cell phone, the less battery you're going to have. So then I would say, yes, there is a likely correlation, and then explain why. Because the more you talk on your cell phone, the less battery you're going to have. Something that's not likely is like the amount of rain outside with how many times you smile in a day. Like those two things have nothing to do with each other, right? It might rain if you're happy. It might rain if you're sad. It doesn't matter how many times you smile in a day. It's just going to rain if it's going to rain, right? That is not likely. That's not causal, okay? So that's what you're doing. It shouldn't take you that long because it's all boop, 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 calculator. I really don't think there's any work to show today. So this is your classwork. This is what you're uploading and taking a picture of on your, and then on Schoology, it's due Monday before class because today is Friday. So it's due Monday before class. And then you also have video notes, okay? And get those turned in. If you have questions on your grade, let me know. But hopefully I've made it clear how you're